Hi there, I'm Prajna O'Hara. Thank you for tuning in. It is Thursday, which is usually the day I record, although it's already getting dark. But I'm on here spontaneously as usual, and I want to speak to you about two things that I came across today. There are two different expressions that I bet you have heard. And the first one is the only way out is through. And the second, amazingly, I saw the book cover that a banker was actually reading, waiting for her customers to come, a bank teller. And it was called The Taboo Against Knowing Who You Are by Alan Watts. Many people have heard of Alan Watts. So I think it's interesting that I came across these two things just now, just before showing up here to speak to you. And in the winter time, where in many places in the world right now, it is very cold. There are snowstorms, lots is happening even here in California. We think it is cold. It's, drops to say 30 degrees Fahrenheit at night, but it warms up, it gets sunny in the day, but it is chillier than usual. And if you're not accustomed to it, it can feel really cold. And also, winter is when we have the most amount of darkness. So darkness is really quite interesting because we don't really get to find out who we are, all the totality of who we are, if we don't allow ourselves to be in the dark, to be in the winter. To be in the winter season is where there's more darkness for a reason, so that we can slow down and let ourselves be a little bit more inward, where we can turn off, because when it's dark, things naturally are not as visible, unless if you have, you can see inwardly, you can see and feel psychically, you can still sense there's a lot going on, even in the dark. Everything is still happening the same, except the attention to noise is not really available to us. We get to turn off certain shapes and forms of stimulation that would call our attention and take us away from exploring more of what is here, more of who we are. So the only way out is through. So is there a need to even get out? Like, what are we getting out of? Like, I love that expression and it makes totally good sense. And I get what it means, because I think in a sense it's talking about avoiding, bypassing, moving away from something, not looking, not seeing what's right here, calling us, and things keep coming back in different, kind of like in a shape shifting way to get our attention, until we actually realize that the only way to be finished with something, to complete something, is to let ourselves move through it, with it, feel it, sense it, let it be touched by it. Like, let it really inform us. Because always when we're holding something out at a distance, whether it's dark or light, the mind can tend to distort, and it makes up something about it that may not be true. There may be maybe some clues in that, and what we're thinking about, and what we might be considering, if we got closer to that, what it could be. But if you try it out yourself, I think you will find out, and I'm sure you have many times, that as you step closer in the moving through something, that you find out it's really not at all what you thought, right? It's something entirely different. And when we go through something, it's like we're unwrapping, we're unwrapping as we move through something. It's informing, it's teaching, it's giving, it's a gift. In the end, it's like, how can I shed, and move through, burn, whatever it is, so that we can get to what has been buried beneath and not really seen, not really looked at, because the key to life always is in the looking. And it includes looking in the dark, always. But that is the key, to look, to be willing to look. And as soon as we look, right there, that's the first step, is the looking. And that looking gives us clues and gives us the key that is required. Like that comes next after we look. And every step informs the next step, and we get more clues, more information, less fear about what we thought was what we needed to move through. And as we get closer to it, it's not bad at all. Yeah, so we just keep one step after the other, after the other, after the other. And the fascinating thing, this this aspect of the taboo of knowing who you are. Well, that book was written, I think, in the 70s, when this idea, this kind of who am I question was made popular. Not that nobody ever asked it before, it's been asked forever, by Ramana Maharshi. Probably, I think he lived until 1957, because I think he died the same year that I was born. So that question has been around for a long time. And then it became popularized when YouTube became popular, actually, and more books were written. And so then there weren't these isolated, secluded kinds of places or ashrams to go to the top of the mountain or wherever, just kind of to go seeking somewhere to find a teacher, a guru, or whatever to help you to discover who you actually are. So now we're here. We're here in all ways, because the way through to find out who you are is to go through all of these ideas that you need to search outside of yourself. So you turn around and you come back, and you get to go through the darkness of you, the darkness of life in the winter time, when it's like so rich. The darkness is so full of soil. It's like this is like we have cut back, right? We cut back in the winter. If you look at a garden, you cut everything back so that the roots can recede into themselves and receive all of the nourishment, the compost that has been, from the soil. Everything, so much is in there, all the insects, the bugs, the creepy crawlers, that are in there to nourish the roots, so that then when the springtime comes, there's strength. So in our inner darkness, we're building psychic muscle always in the dark. Yeah. And in our dreams. So letting the body rest, letting ourselves be winterized in the resting, in the slowing down, in the receiving of the inner nourishment, of the teachings that come in through the dreams, that is building psychic muscle. Yeah, and this is, there's so much to who we are in the body, in the base, in our bellies, in our legs, in our ground, and how we anchor on the earth. So if we're only seeking out for this kind of answer, it won't happen. That isn't the way through if we're wanting to find out who we are. The way through is through the dark, is through embracing the wholeness. And the more that we receive dark, there's more light also visible. Comes more visible in the springtime, metaphorically, but always. So I don't know how long I've gone here, but I have Woody here, my dog, and I have my daughter Abby here. We are actually going to go out and do a little celebration tonight, because she had a massive accomplishment today. I'm not allowed to say what that is, but she did, and I did too. I completed something that I've been intensively working on for a while. So I haven't been on social media. I've hardly even put out very much of my news, but I am working on my calendar right now for next year. There's many things upcoming. There's many things that I've said no to because I'm letting myself winter and really feeling the benefit of that and knowing that I won't always be in winter, that winter isn't always going to be the case. But so many times we pass it over and we just like, we just like miss the, the time of being able to snuggle and, hone in on yourself, find out more about you and what you need. And is it time to be busy? I mean, I'm busy in a different way, but I used to travel a lot, and I don't know if I'm going to do that as much as I did. I'm really enjoying the sense of homing here. So I've said more than enough. But if you want to put a comment in, you want to subscribe, you want to ask a question, I'm open to all of these things. I'm going to respond as quickly as I can. And I love your comments. Sometimes I get some really beautiful, long comments where I can tell that that the topic that I hit was just right for you, and that's good. Let me know that. That really means a lot to me because I want to speak about things that are interesting to you, that are supportive to you. That's why I come on here. So thank you for subscribing, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a beautiful evening, morning, day, night. Enjoy the dark. The way out is through. The way in is through. And there is absolutely no taboo anymore about finding out who you are. So do it. Bye for now.